It's evening in where Sabre is, and it's early morning in New Zealand. Yeah, well, welcome, Sabre. It's great to have you here. Been a while, and lots of happenings since our last catch up.
Yes, been a while, and been a weird year for everybody. So
yeah, for sure. Okay, so let's can we just like go over perhaps like all the changes and how it affected you? Let's start with WSeries, because you made that automatic selection through from 2019 to 2020, and yeah, I'm sure you were looking forward to making that opportunity count. How did that around March affect your plans?
I mean, yeah, it obviously affected them quite a bit because WSeries was completely canceled. So, I mean, we didn't know that for the first bit when everything shut down. So there was still hope, but yeah, it changed quite a bit. And COVID, obviously, it changed financially a lot of situations for different companies, and that affected my sponsorship over in the States as well. So even the program that I had planned in the States got cut short too. So it's been, I think I did a total of, I think it was four or five races this year and in total. So it's not very many.
Okay. When WSeries, they worked out this is going to be super difficult, and then they made a really brave, and I thought, like it was a successful decision to launch the eSports League, and everything on sim. Like, how was that? How did you take that decision, Sabre? And like, what was it like?
I mean, yeah, obviously nobody ever wants to hear, sorry, you're not going to get to drive a race cart, but I completely supported with the decision that they made because, I mean, as everybody's seen, this year has been really difficult, and it would have been so hard for them, and so just maybe unrealistic logistically for them to continue to have it in 2020. So I completely understood. Obviously was a little bummed, but just kind of, I was a little unsure about the whole esports thing at first because I haven't done very much esports at all, and I'd never had a home sim, so it was really cool to be able to like get all of that new kit from WSeries and have it to give it a go, and I can't believe they sent us everything that we absolutely needed, and a really nice setup. So it was definitely a treat. In some ways, it was like, oh, this is awesome, but it also means I'm not driving a real car. So, but it was good, and I thought they did very well at adapting to the times, adapting to the situation, and they still try to put great production in it. And the whole team really did the best that they could to still make it fun and entertaining for our fans.
Yeah, for sure. And there was definitely a build up of momentum heading into the races, and I think it was smart having them consecutive weeks because that kept that flow going.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What did you find any similarities from the e racing to actual track racing, Sabre, or was it like way out of comfort zone?
I mean, at first it was definitely a learning curve. Because you see like the girls that spend a lot of time on the sims, like Arena and Vitska, they it makes a massive difference when you have time. It's just like anything, the more practice you get, the better you are. So it was definitely a learning curve at first, but as I started to get into it, I felt like I started to build some slow momentum and got like some okay mixed results, and then I ended up having a race in real life. So then I missed a couple. So I think I missed like the end of the whole like last 4 races of the series. But it was fun for those 6 races that I did get to do. And it definitely taught me, and in some ways it actually did help me think about certain habits that maybe I shouldn't have while I'm driving the real car, or maybe certain skills that I need to focus on or get better at while driving the real car. So in that way, I think it was really beneficial. And also like having qualifying, that's like you get like, 2 green flag laps and that's it. That's really good mental practice to do. So in that respect, I thought it was great. I mean, obviously the wheels and the pedals and everything isn't going to feel completely normal unless you have like the $1 million, okay, they're not $1 million, but they're very expensive, like the high-end pedal and wheels. So that was like the biggest thing to get used to, is especially the braking, because in a Formula car, you just like smash the brakes, and you have the lead off. But in the sim, it just, the pedal feels completely different. So just like trying to fine tune that, and then within the game, changing the settings so you could like get it to where you could get the feel that you were looking for. So that was probably one of the biggest things to get used to.
Yeah, and I think some of the woman was saying, you don't have that feel of you're in the car, and I think that was like a major difference for them, because like they felt that racing was as much feeling the car, connection with tire to the circuit, and that wasn't there.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're just like, I can't feel anything, and you have to just rely so much more on like the feedback that you get from like your vision, really, because even the wheels and the pedals aren't really like as accurate as obviously in the real car. So you have to just kind of learn telltale signs of it. But the racing in the end, it was kind of the same as in real life. Make a pass, you have to outbrake someone, except for I did notice that like on certain tracks or like in certain places, you could just like send it round the outside, and you're like, I don't think this would actually work in real life, but it works here, so I'll take it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, full credit to W Series, I think, for putting out something, because
Definitely.
a whole year to wait, Sabre, before we see all the women. Also, like sitting at home, going over in your mind, how do I get through this year when nothing's happening?
Yeah, it was a really big gift to us, really. And yes, it kept W Series out there, but it was also like a great thing for us drivers to have, especially if like, we weren't fortunate enough to get out and race at all this year. So I think it was a great thing.
And so are the protocols the same in place? So still your 2019 selection moves over to 2021? Is how much sort of information has come out since?
Yeah, so unfortunately, I don't have confirmation if it's going to be the same drivers or not. Hopefully we get an update on that, and I will obviously share that as soon as I can. But as of right now, they haven't been able to confirm, the dates, the venues, who will be racing with, and then also the drivers. So fingers crossed that we all still get to have a chance. But it's just kind of up in the air, and I completely understand, because nobody really knows what's going to happen next year and what's going to look like, and if it's going to get worse day by day or get better. So
yeah,
it's a tough situation.
Yeah, for sure. Even though, some motorsport series have managed to, scrape through by running events with no fans and, strict health and restrictions in place. Next year could pose a whole new set of problems. And yeah, for sure, athletes are bearing the brunt, so to speak. So
yeah, in some ways, but it could be a lot worse. Like we could be sick and unhealthy, or be one of the people that have lost our lives, or be one of the nurses or doctors having to deal with it all the time. So it definitely could be worse. So I just try to keep a positive look on it.
Yeah, the other side of the coin, I suppose. So how personally, like how have you managed to deal with really not much racing for the whole year, Sabre? Like
Yeah.
how,
Well, I guess like it's sad to say, but sometimes I've gotten used to it the last few years, because it's so hard to find the budget to race anyways, that I've always done. I never did a full season in a single seater category until last year with WSeries. I'd only ever managed to get funding for a couple races here and there. So it was, I want to say, I mean, it's not like completely stranger to me, but it still opened up a lot of free time where I could allocate that to working on other things. So then that way I've obviously tried to use the time as best I can and just start improving on the things that I do have control over right now. But it definitely was tough. And I try to just take on, I've done a lot of coaching, doing some engineering work on the side, some tech support stuff. So it's just, here and there, whatever I can do, and just making it through, and obviously trying to stay up with my training and travel. Even though it sounds weird, I've been traveling quite a lot actually the last like two and a half months. I've been home for maybe 2 weeks in the last 2.5 months. So it's been busy.
which I, like that reflects on your, your positive mindset, Sabre. Like you've known challenges and changes of schedule and plans, maybe set in concrete, but like there's that few percent chance that something's not going to work out, and it doesn't go ahead. So
Yeah.
I think you do have something inside you which is gritty and can roll with the punches if you like. And
I think that's motorsports in general, though. I mean, you've seen it. It's everything changes quite a lot if you don't have that unquestionable financial backing. Then you're always going to have that sort of question mark that is looming over you. So it's just part of it, I guess.
Which champions are born from, Sabre?
I hope so.
Okay, so let's just go into these last couple of months. I mean, I even struggled to sort of catch you between flights and
yeah.
what has been on the cards, and also your coaching, your mentoring role. I think that sounds fascinating.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and I think coaching is great because I always love that quote. It's like, if you can't explain something simply, you don't understand it well enough yourself. So it's great because it gives you a new perspective. And I think as drivers sometimes, or anybody, you kind of get like sort of tunnel vision, or you see it from one perspective. But when you are helping someone try to get through even similar struggles that you were having with the same thing, then you're like, well, why didn't I just like look at it like that, or think of it like that, or try that solution? So it's been great, and just learning to work with all types of different people. I mean, I've been coaching for years, but obviously been more intensive these last few months with time off from racing. So it's been great, and I get to work with kids, so that's always fun, especially when I get to work with young girls. And I get to work with some old veterans as well. So it doesn't matter the age, and they're still loving it just as much as the kids are. So it's been really fun.
And that great sense of like satisfaction, because you're seeing, presumably you're seeing improvement from what you're doing, and is the feedback they're keen, this is what they want to do, they want to learn, like where do they come from, Sabre, and bringing you on?
To make, like, to book me as a coach.
Yeah.
I get it from, I guess, several different avenues. It's either from karting. Like, I have a friend that runs a karting team, so he actually hires me to come in and work with his team. I have a F4 team that brings me in, and then also I had a request. One of my biggest students right now, he messaged me on Instagram and was like, "Hey, can you come coach me?" And I was like, "Yeah." So, I mean, it's you can contact me through email or even Instagram, social media, all those things, and usually you'll be able to get a hold of me and we can schedule something.
Okay, it's great. You've turned an unknown into something incredibly positive. And what about your engineering, your work as such? Does this slot in, Sabre, to a schedule, or Affinity, that scholarship, was an amazing opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. So at the end, I decided to leave Renault at the end of last year because I thought I was going to be racing all year and have quite a busy schedule. So I'm like, I just don't think I can continue to, race this much. And there's so much, potential here right now. I think I need to pursue this while I'm at a specific age, and I can still do some engineering on side. So this is a choice I'm going to make. And then COVID happened, and then it was like, well, it's a bit unfortunate, but no, I've kept doing other things on the side. When I do driver coaching, I can also do like data, and then also can do some like engineering setup work on the cars. So I just kind of try to compromise the whole. I can help with like all the steps, I guess. So I've been doing that, and then also just some like side, like advisement on design, as well as there's a company that's in my hometown. They had like some broken machines, and I'll help fix the machines, and then just like drawing up like just some pieces here and there for like other engineering projects where they just they have the ideas and they just basically need them rendered in CAD. So just whatever I can, and small things. And most of the time they're with people obviously that are my friends or family or mutual connections that are just looking for some help. So just do that, and it's been fun, and I get to look at a lot of different things.
And that time at Renault, that because that was sort of at the latter end of the year. What were the highlights, Sabre, which obviously you've taken on, and used in this year?
I guess highlights. I did get to go to Barcelona testing at the beginning of the year, last year in February. That was pretty cool. And then another one, I probably would say actually seeing. So I did the rear top wishbone on this year's car. So seeing it on track for the first time was pretty cool. Like, even though I wasn't there personally, but just like seeing it on TV, I was like, there it is. And then obviously when Daniel Ricciardo won, didn't win, I wish he won. When he got the podium, it just felt like it was cool, because it's like I had a very, very small part to like help sort of get to that point. And I just can't thank everybody at Renault enough for all the things that they taught me, and being able to be responsible for, just a small part of that was amazing.
Yeah, which, it creates a really broad skill base, because you can not only put your racing skills to practice on the track, and then transition over to helping others improve their skills, but you've got the actual engineering side, which has formulated the vehicle, the machine that you're in. does it feel like, there's a nice circle, a round circle, or a complete package?
Yeah.
Sabra?
There's definitely, it's cool to see the connections that maybe sometimes it's hard to explain, because if you haven't felt it yourself, then it's hard to explain. Like when you see it in a design, or sometimes I'll even look at a design and I'll say, it's almost like I can, it sounds weird, but it's almost like I can feel what that's probably going to feel like.
Yeah.
And so then I don't know, it's like I start to make like almost like physical kinesthetic connections with design parameters, and especially when I do the setups and stuff like that and make the changes. And actually, like a lot of engineers, they say, well, I know that, adding more rake is going to add, probably it's going to make more oversteer if I'm on a neutral balance car or something, but they don't know what that, internally they don't know what it feels like. But being able to actually like pair the two together, it feels really, I feel very lucky to be able to have that sort of like coming together of both sides.
Yeah, I mean, it's more than just intuition and perception. It's bringing, the design on paper on what is actually going to be like in practical terms. A same scenario as, someone who's sitting in an ivory tower at university and is teaching on a subject which is actually happening on the ground.
Yeah.
But, they haven't actually stepped outside.
Oh, I know what you're saying. That is a bit unfortunate.
Yeah. So, I mean, it provides, I mean, it says the authenticity of yourself, because, you know where you're coming from, and that's a huge asset. Yeah, massive.
I hope so, but I'm very happy that both of my interests happen to align in the same area. So.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, now, and looking a little bit further ahead, are you, is it a wind down towards the year now, Sabre, or?
Not really. I've got some. I'm doing some training and stuff like these next couple weeks, and then I come back to the U.S. In the beginning of next month, and then I end up going and working as a mechanic for a week at a race, and then I think I may or may, I don't want to say, I don't want to jinx it, because I may or may not get a seat depending on if they don't get a paying driver. So that's fingers crossed. I'm not going to say what it is, but maybe I'll be traveling to go do that. But if not, then I actually have some engineering work I have to go travel for. And then I am actually going to Mexico for a break with my mom for fun. So that will be nice, and for her birthday, so she will hopefully she enjoys that. And then after that, we're in December, and in December, as of right now, I don't think I have to go anywhere, but I'm not sure. We'll see.
Okay, well, you're such an inspiring person, female woman.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, very much so, Sabra. I mean, it's one thing to pursue something with passion, but it's another to put all the nuts and bolts together, and it's not going to be a perfect match. So it takes a lot of guts, I think, and and courage to stick at it.
Yeah, well, I can't say it's all me. I have amazing friends and family and mentors. So I have the days where, I'm just, I can't seem to get anything accomplished, and it's just, one of those days, and I'm sure everybody has them. So it's, you have to have good people around you too. So
yeah,
definitely keep that in mind. Don't try to do everything by yourself, because I've tried, it doesn't work.
Okay, and fingers crossed, because it really, we really want to see WSeries, hit the ground running for next year. 2019 was just awesome.
It really was.
It was fantastic to see all the venues, and the woman they made you just all made such amazing progress.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, and also the value of what the series provided in putting you all in different situations. Racing, different cars with different mechanics. It's really quite an unusual setup, which has major spin-offs way down the track. I mean, it must develop you as a person as well.
Like what?
It must, that whole experience, Sabre, it must have developed you as a person as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like you said, change and diversity and all the challenges, those are what changes you and grows you. And if you're not growing, you're dying. So it was great.
Okay. Well, all very best for the next the next few weeks. Sounds busy. And
Yes.
and yeah, hopefully we catch up, before 2021 season, starts off. Let's hope that first race of W Series is a go. And and pleasure having you. Absolute pleasure.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And I will hopefully have an update for you guys very, very